here we are again, looking backward, saying,
yep.
Well, we talked about this in 2020. I think they found almost 20,000 driver's licenses at O'Hare International Airport, Chicago, and it was like, yeah, that's not right. A big deal. The truth is what?
It was a big deal because it was corroboration for a plot that a confidential human source had told the FBI about in August 2020. But neither the original intelligence coming in from the informant or the subsequent seizure of 20,000 fake driver's licenses from Hong Kong and China got the FBI off its stuff to investigate whether there was a ongoing effort to malignly influence the 2020 election by a foreign power. Sure. It's really remarkable. These things would normally automatically create investigations, but here somebody grabbed it into a dark closet and kept it from the American people, from the Congress. And of course, we were told after the election, no foreign intrusions at all. We now know there were 2 separate attempted foreign intrusions in the 2020 election.
Well, here's a couple of questions about all that. First of all, was Christopher Wray weighing in on this on one side or the other of the election? Because it sure seems that way when you look at the facts on the ground here. And then the important question is, how many driver's licenses made it through and how many illegals actually voted? Any way to ever figure that out?
Well, there is now. Listen, there should be 5 years later, we can still go back and recreate the evidence trail, interview the source again, go get those driver's licenses, check them for fingerprints, interview Chinese citizens on the ground who were here or still are here that may have been there then. Go back and look at signal intelligence, go back and look at NSA intercepts. If the FBI wants to get to the bottom of this, it can, and we'll see if Kash Patel orders that. The first step was turning this document over to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Chuck Grassley, he had been told about this from an FBI whistleblower, that in fact this got swept under the rug. Kash Patel not only got the documents, he got the proof that it was swept under the rug. The memo goes out to all intelligence agencies saying, hey, let's look at this. And then a few days later, it's pulled back. It's called recalled. It was recalled, and then nobody ever follows up on it. The reason for recalling it was they want to interview the source again. I'm told that the re-interview of the source confirmed what the source told them the first time. And of course, the CPB confirms that there were fake driver's licenses. The FBI simply didn't want to know the answer to whether China was intruding in our elections and trying to swing the election to Joe Biden. So they swept it under the rug.
And that brings me back to the question I started with. Where is Christopher Wray in this? Who does the recall? Who brings it back in? Who sweeps it under the rug? And what is his involvement?
I just, a few moments ago, just before I came on air, was able to look at this document for the first time in a location. And Steve, it doesn't have the director on it. It does have several intelligence agencies, including the CIA, on it. It is not marked to the director's office. When the recall notice comes in, it doesn't also identify whether the director or the 7th floor leadership of the FBI are on it. So Kash Patel and Senator Grassley have a lot of sleuthing to do to get us those answers. But your questions are exactly the questions that need to be answered. I'm told just a few minutes ago, Senator Grassley sent a letter back to Kash Patel saying, thanks for the document. Now find out who did the recall. And I think that is the next mystery that needs to be solved in this. But for the first time, we do know the FBI had reason to think that China was trying to swing the election to Donald Trump, or to Joe Biden and away from Donald Trump.
Yeah. Your gut tells you, it's hard to believe that a recall of that magnitude, when Christopher Wray appeared in front of Congress, how many different times, that he would not be aware of this series of facts, finds it hard to believe. Real quickly before you go, because of your expertise inside Washington, the president is in the Situation Room as we speak, discussing options. Any feeling about what might happen there, or do they not know?
I think they're going to give themselves maximum optionality. That is, that they want to be in a position, if they need to strike, they can strike. But right now, the posture of the United States remains, we will not participate in an offensive manner in this war. We will protect Israel as we need, but at present, we're not going on offense. Why? Because Israel has already demonstrated it has complete air superiority over Iran. It can do what it wants, when it wants, for however long it wants. And that doesn't require then any U.S. intervention. decision right now. I think the most likely scenario is that Israel will seek to drop a series of what are known as MOABs, mother of all bombs. They're bunker busters, and try to implode and crush the nuclear sites and any material stored in them so that Iran is set back by decades, not years or months, on its nuclear weapons illicit program. Now, if the United States were to drop a MOAB from a B-2, we can drop the single largest MOAB there is, and one should penetrate and do the job. Israel doesn't have the capability to fly that large a bomb, so it may need to make 3 to 5 passes of dropping MOABs to ultimately eradicate a nuclear site. So it's just going to take longer. I think the U.S. right now is patient enough to let that time take its course, since Israel is able to do this with dominance from the skies. What we need to watch for is whether Iran tries to attack the United States. If it does, then the U.S. is going to get involved in a big way really quickly, I think.
Well, change public sentiment. You know, ironically, one Democrat saying we should drop every 350,000-pound MOAB we can until it's over, that being John Fetterman. Strangely enough, an irony of ironies. There it is, John.